Struggling to get 3 stars at Town Hall 13? Well, these are the best armies that you can use post-balance changes. We'll break each of these attacks down to improve your 3-star success. So at number 5, we wanted to give you a simple spam army, so the Yeti Witch is a perfect choice. Pretty much in this strategy, you're going to start off with using 2 Yetis and 2 Witches on one side. You can also use a baby dragon to extend the funnel, but you're going to use the siege barrack on the other side. This is going to carve out 2 sections of the base, which is going to allow you to dive deeper in with the rest of your Yetis, your Witches, and your heroes. This is really important because you want to get rid of as much splash damage as possible. From there, you're going to spam in the rest of your Yetis, your Witches, and your heroes to follow suit. Now, since you are not using the log launcher here, you're going to open up the initial walls with a super wall breaker, and you've got the earthquake boots with the Barbarian King. You do, though, want to make sure that you are raging up your main army and getting them in with the Eternal Tome and Healing Tome. Once you get a little bit deeper into the base, you're going to use that Barbarian King Spiky Ball and Earthquake Boot, which is going to open up the entire area. In this specific instance, we're able to get rid of multiple multi-target infernos, the Eagle Artillery, and even the Town Hall. This gives us a ton to work with, as this is a ton of splash damage that's getting removed. Otherwise, we also have the Royal Champion over on the back end with her Seeking Shield and Rocket Spear, which can very easily help us clear out any remaining splash damage buildings. This really is only going to leave one final part, which is the bat spells. If there is a wizard tower there, I would recommend sending your bat spells in for it, and otherwise, if all of the splash damage is gone, you can kind of use your free spells against things like Tesla farms, but other than that, your bats will very easily quickly work through the remaining defenses. And this is an incredibly strong strategy because it uses the Yetis, the Witches, and the bats for a complete combo. At number 4, we have the Sui Lavaloon. This is a surgical yet simple strategy. Overall, you're going to start this off with a Yeti blimp. This is usually aimed for, if the Town Hall is offset, you can go for that, or an entire compartment with the Yetis and a rage spell. Other than this, this should clear a really nice section off the base and use the Ice Golem with your Barbarian King and Archer Queen to start moving in, dealing with the enemy CC in the process, which is going to get you great value. And you also have the Apprentice Warden to provide a lot of support for them. Other than this, you just want to make sure that you are getting your heroes to go towards the Town Hall, especially if it's closer to the center of the base. Overall, as you continue to move deeper in, using super wall breaker or super barbarians in order to help control the funneling is really important. You should also have the earthquake boots with the spiky ball to get a lot of value, even if your king isn't in the core of the base, and you even have your queen with the mirror and a rage to do plenty of damage. You've also even got the rocket spear with the royal champion to extend the value that she can get, and it's going to pretty much allow you to get almost half the base down with just a hero dive, which really just leaves the Lavaloon. Pretty much with your hero dive set, you're going to send in a lava hound with a couple groups of balloons and the warden. This has the life gem enabled, which got buffed in the most recent balance changes and will provide a lot of support. You can send in another lava hound with a couple groups of balloons and use your haste spells to get 2 key defenses, using your Warden's Eternal Tome to protect everything as you go into things like the multi-target infernos and other splash damage defenses. That's always really important. Free spells, on the other hand, you can easily use to stop air defenses and wizard towers or other splash damage buildings, and just moving through with the hastes are really important. Just make sure you have some cleanup and you should be good for a 3-star most of the time. Next up at number 3, we have to include a mass hog strategy, so the twin hogs is perfect. You're going to start off by using 2 Yetis on either side with 3 wizards. This is going to establish a wide funnel for you to enter into the base with your heroes. This is reminiscent of a standard kill squad type attack, where you are using your heroes with tanks and of course any or the other support troops and your siege machine to get deeper in. Overall, you can use spells like free spells to protect your log launcher if it it does get locked on, but overall for the most part you're looking to open up a large area. So having the Barbarian King's Earthquake Boot and Spiky Ball can open up a large area of the base, allowing you to get even more. Having a Rage and the Mirror from the Queen can allow you to increase the DPS of it and get even more defenses down. Overall, you are mainly trying to get as much value and the CC along with the enemy heroes as you can as you work through. That way you also have the Royal Champion to help out using her Rocket Spear and Seeking Shield before you send in your super hog riders. Now with the hero dive getting a large amount of value and your Royal Champion helping out with that, you've got your hog riders to start moving in. Now with this, you have your super hogs moving in with the Warden. You do want to take regular hog riders to provide funneling support and also just tanking in general as you work yourself around. You should use an early heal spell though in order to top off all your super hogs using more regular hog riders, and have any rage spells necessary to push through and do massive damage. Of course, free spells really do help against splash damage defenses like the Town Hall, but otherwise you're gonna let your super hogs just move around the base. If you have any other leftover spells like heal spells and rage spells, definitely use them, as they can provide a ton of value and basically overkilling the base. Just make sure though that you have some form of cleanup in order to make sure that you're not time failing, though you probably won't be time failing with a strategy like this because of how strong it is, but for the most part still bring it, just so that way you can close out the attack just that bit sooner. Now, number 2, we have to include some form of dragon attack, and this is a really strong one. Pretty much you want to set 2 sides of your funnel because you are going to have your queen use her giant arrow to remove as many air defenses as you can on one side and actually go in and clear out that compartment, along with using your barbarian king with a super wall breaker to get him in, along with an ice golem to funnel the other side of the compartment. In this situation, we want the earthquake boots because even though it's going to open the outside, the main thing here is controlling the dragons to stay in the middle part of the base. So having the earthquake boots of the spiky ball from the Barbarian King gives us a perfect funnel for us to send in our dragons. With the perfect funnel set on both sides, you're going to send in your dragons, dragon riders, and your Grand Warden to start moving in. With the Grand Warden's Rage Gem, it's going to keep those dragons perpetually raged, especially early on. Delay your Battle Blimp, use a Rage, and of course, using your Eternal Tome to protect everything, including the Battle Blimp. As you work in, your dragons are going to do a ton of damage to everything, and you've got the Battle Blimp with a clone and balloons in order to remove the Town Hall and maybe even any other structures around it. Of course, don't forget to use a rage spell there, but you should also have the back end Royal Champion to move through. Having the Seeking Shield and the Rocket Spear and even pairing it with the rage spell to do extra damage, it's going to allow you to one-shot a lot of buildings while your dragons are able to clear the other side, and you're able to very quickly steamroll any type of base with something like this. And at number 1, it really shouldn't be a surprise, but Super Witches are the best strategy in the game. Overall, we're using the Fireball, so you're going to be using this in order to maybe remove something like the Town Hall compartment, using 2 earthquakes to remove the CC, invisibility spells, and allowing you to send that fireball in to remove everything around it. Having 2 to 3 invisibility spells is usually going to be the key in order to doing this. Other than that, that's going to establish one side of your funnel, not only removing some interior buildings, but also warden walking and allowing you to clear the outside. You should also be using the siege barrack and maybe even a baby dragon in order to cut off the other side of your funnel. In case you're going up against a cannon, arch tower, or even something like a Tesla, you can always use 2 giants in order to scout out any traps and of course any damage and protect your siege barrack, so that way the P.E.K.K.A. and the wizards can come out and set up a solid funnel for you to send in your super witches. Pretty much from there, you'll lure over the warden with your your Archer Queen or even the Super Witches, and you'll start moving in. Now, unlike Town Hall 14 and everything else, you don't have druids, so you really do need to rely on the healers. So having balloons to look for any seeking air mines, especially early on, is super important. Other than this, get your troops in with a super wall breaker, push them in a little bit deeper with the rage spell, and make sure that you've got a jump spell. This is mainly used to get your king a little bit deeper into the base. The main premise of this is to get value from the earthquake boot and spiky ball to get enough value to move deeper into the base, clearing a large area with the spiky ball and opening the base up with the earthquake boots. Other than this, you'll have your royal champion on the back end, or you'll even have the cloned queens allowing you to easily move through. But with that rocket spear and royal champion seeking shield, you're gonna very easily and quickly be able to get through most bases. This is a tried and true strategy that's gonna work at all town hall levels, so it's best to learn this one first. Now, while these 5 attacks are amazing for Town Hall 13, if you have a Town Hall 15, you might want to check out this video right here.